And we're live, episode 4 of Athletic Insights. My guest today is Connor Kelly, Bishop's University. How you doing?
I'm doing great. Thanks, Zach. Thanks for having me on.
No, we appreciate it. So one of the big goals here with this podcast is to be a resource for youth sports coaches, younger athletes, parents in the community and parents outside the community, whoever's listening. So we appreciate your time as an athlete here and also as a student. You just finished exams yesterday and you ripped home to do this with us. So we appreciate it. How did your exams go?
They went all right. Thanks. I had 4 this semester and it's tough. We were practicing during the exam break, like the exam period. So like you had to manage your time pretty wisely. You'd go practice and then have to, go to the library, study, and then get ready for exams. But yeah, it was, I think they went all right. Thanks. So yeah, thanks for asking.
Good. Yeah, that's awesome. Of course. So for everyone listening at home, Connor is another local product from Brockville. He's currently in his second year at Bishop's where he's been playing varsity basketball and he's been doing a fantastic job. I've had my eye on him since the day he showed up on campus, actually. Kind of also a little bit of a mentor role, but definitely friends. He's a great, mature young man, and he's a wonderful role model like the other guests we've had on so far to date.
Appreciate it.
So just give me a little bit of background on how you got into sports in general as a young athlete and the role basketball has played in your life till now.
For sure. So like for me, like I was lucky enough I got to experience like a bunch of different sports. I played football here, baseball here, basketball, volleyball, but basketball for me really started to kick off when I was in grade 2. There wasn't enough guys that we had a team for like guys my age, so I actually had to play with grade 5s and 6s.
Wow, that's probably great for your development.
Great. I was kind of like the bottom of the totem pole, obviously, like just like I was small, going up against grade 6s, but it was great. They took me on the team. I got to practice and then got better. And then the next year, like we recruited some guys. I was lucky. My dad and Dan Bills actually we went and got some guys from different schools. Some guys that Jackson played with at Toniata. Some guys from my school. We put a team together. We weren't very great, but that's where it really all started. Like this group of guys that we formed in grade 3, 4, we stuck with until the end of high school, really. And like it was cool to see like the growth from like being 70th in Ontario to eventually by our grade 9 and 10 year being top 10, top 8, and being on top and being the first ever OBA Division 1 team. So and like it's cool. Like now that I'm back for Christmas break, like I want to like we all link up. Like we usually try to make Christmas a time where we're all back from exams and stuff. So we all like try to link up and catch up. Like everyone's gone doing their own thing now, at college or university or working. So yeah, it's pretty cool. So that's where it like started for me in basketball. And yeah, so yeah, it was kind of the beginning. And then
where was the point in your young life where you said basketball is what I want to do and I want to do it for a long time at a high level? For
me, it was probably like grade 9 or 10 ish. Like I played every sport up until that time. And then
grade 10 was when you said I've got my foundation as an athlete. Now I need to protect my body and play basketball. For sure. And like, I'll kind of go on like to expand. So like there's one key moment in my life, which is actually a failure that ended up making like being such a big breakthrough point for me is when in my grade 9 year. So like coming into St. Mary's, like actually like we like the basketball program wasn't that great necessarily. Like they had some great athletes like Mitchell and themselves, but like shout out Mitch Beatty, Beatty Films, recording this podcast live.
Yeah, so like they had some great athletes, but their basketball team that wasn't necessarily like great. So I had some expectations, me and the group of guys that I came in with, like to like kind of turn around, like to do make like win and bring St. Mary's basketball kind of back to their winning ways.
Yeah, as a group.
Hit a goal. And anyway, so my grade 9 year, we played TIS in the Augusta finals, and they played a boxing 1 on me, and I scored 0 points, and we lost by 20. And I remember going home that night and like just crying, being upset, like I let people down here, like this is awful. I remember laying in my bed and being like I don't ever want to experience this feeling again. And that from that failure, like you have to go to school the next day and people are like, yo, like Con, like what happened? 0 points, man, like come on.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Yeah. And like you go through that, but then ever since then it woke me up in my work ethic. And then what happened to me, I fell in love with the process of becoming better.
Right.
So going to the gym, I'm going to get better at this today. And then you go back tomorrow and you're a bit better. And then you go back the next day and you're a bit better. And then you start hitting the weights and you see gains. You start with 2 or 3 chin-ups and you're doing 5 or 6 chin-ups. So I fell in love with like the process of getting better at the sport, and that eventually, like, that love for the game eventually led to me like wanting to pursue it at the next level. So yeah, but that's where it like started. Like that love for the game happened actually through like a failure. Yeah.
Perceived failure.
Yeah, perceived failure. So
one of the things about elite athletics that I want everybody at home to understand is you are going to fail. I said this before, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6,000 times more than you're going to succeed. But like you, Connor, I'm such a process driven guy.
For sure.
I can comfortably tell you that I love the process more than actually playing football.
100%.
100%, because you get validation out of it. You have a purpose, you have a drive, your goals are periodized and progressed. And I think that's the way to do it.
For sure.
For myself, that moment where I said, I never want to feel this again was in my grade 11 year, my second year of football. We had just lost in the EASA finals to Arnprior by 6 points, and there was a couple weird calls, and it was unfortunate. But we went to return our equipment the next day, and some of the older guys who were deciding whether or not they wanted to come back for grade 13 had said, what are we going to do next year at receiver? Huey McFall's graduating and Trevor Lasser's graduating. And I was like, well, what about me? Like, I'm going to be a great, you know what I mean? So I literally, and just like you, I walked home and I was crying. I was like, how did my teammates think so little of me? Like, so I just started grinding. And from that point on, I can confidently tell you that I've never had a teammate that's ever outworked me.
That's cool.
Like, I refuse to be outworked. I don't care. You know what I mean? That came from a teammate and a friend of mine just belittling me. Yeah. So same thing, failure can motivate you unlike anything else in sports.
Big time for sure. Right. I think it's cool too. Like being from Brockville too, I feel like you just have a chip on your shoulder. Like, I know for myself, like when we go up and play tournaments, up in Toronto, they're like, yo, Brockville, like, that's where I stop when I'm going to Montreal to get some gas, like it's not like they don't know what we're about and stuff. So I think having that chip on your shoulder, like, is something that fueled me. And I think not having necessarily the resources, like, like my grind was, I'd have to go either before school or after all the Blazers or practices are done at 9 p.m. Mm-hmm. So that, like, you have to, wake up at 5 a.m. to get, get some shots up is tough. But if you love it and you love the process, and that's, you're not complaining about it. I think if you don't love it, then eventually it's going to catch up to you, because like the university schedule, like it's really demanding. Like, I'm going back to school on the 26th here, December 26th. Like, that's tough, it's Boxing Day. Like, that's, you want to be home with your family, but I love it. And, we're trying to build towards something. So, I'm going to do that. But if you don't love it, then it's going to be tough to stick with it for 4 or 5 years, I believe. But so everyone's different and stuff, but it's tough,
absolutely. A big thing that I try to tell all the athletes I work with is, I know your dream is to get there, but I also want to let you know what it's going to be like.
Oh, big time.
You're gonna have 2 hours a day of meetings, film meetings, game plan. You're gonna practice. Basketball, you're gonna get shots up. Football, you're going to be in the weight room. Basketball too.
For sure.
All that stuff. But you had spoken just kind of about the chip on your shoulder from Brockville. How much did it help having Jackson Bales here to push you and have that athlete that you assimilated with, who was on the same path in life as you?
For sure. That was like, actually, it's a really, really big part of like me becoming the player I am today is through Jackson. Because when I was in grade 2, he was in grade 3 on that grade 6 team, actually. So we like kind of started this together. And like I have a kind of a cool story about him. Like we worked like, side by side all the way through up, and we were part of, being down to 70th in Ontario to, climbing up the ranks. But I remember one instant, me and him, we just got back from St. Lawrence College. We're shooting maybe in like grade 10 or 11. So, and like he's driving me home and he's like, man, like, how cool would it be if we both made it, And I'm like, man, like that doesn't happen in Brockville. Like we know one guy, Reese Larry, that's the one guy we looked up to, but there's no guys that really like come and play basketball at the next level. And we're like, man, like, and I was calling him last night just to catch up with them, and we're like reflecting, and we're like, man, like we made it. Like we made our goal. Like we all have bigger goals now,
right?
But that was our goal like then. And now that we're both, asking each other about our seasons, and like we're both doing our thing, like it's almost like full circle. It's really cool. Like, and I'm proud of him, and I'm sure he's proud of me. So yeah, he's a big part. And like when we call each other, we live in the same kind of thing, like the grind and the same kind of lifestyle. So it's nice to have a guy that, he gets you, and like it's really cool. It's really cool for sure. Like
absolutely, man. I think you and Jackson Bales are both so talented and so mature for your age, and especially with the Raptors winning the championship last year. I mean, Canada, wake up! Like basketball is the sport of the future. I don't care who you are, what your skill level is. Basketball is the sport of the future. It's growing in Africa. It's growing in Canada. It's growing in China.
Yeah.
So, 20 years, sports are going to look a lot different.
For sure.
But I do want to just backtrack. We were talking about the process a little earlier and, but waking up early and getting those extra shots up, and being in the weight room. So in high school, this is when I fully realized that I was just different from other kids. And this is I'll touch a little bit more about that after.
For sure.
When I realized I was different was in grade 11, I would wake up at 4 a.m., 4:30.
Yeah.
I'd make a breakfast. I'd let it digest. I'd walk to the YMCA because I lived around the corner.
Yeah.
Be in there by 5:30, lift till 6:37, go back home, second breakfast, get ready for school, go to school, class all day. I did my homework during MSIP. I did my homework during lunch. Every single lunch period I had, I was doing math homework with my math teacher. Every single period for 3 years. School ends, football practice, go home, weight room again, go for a run at night. Like there is such an opportunity for these small town kids with a chip on their shoulder to find work. If you're not doing enough and you have this big dream, I want to play CIS basketball, I want to play CIS football, or bigger, I want to play professional, I want to get a Division I scholarship, and you're 14 years old, that's when you have to make that decision where you're going to put more work in than everybody, or it's not going to work out. There is no gray area. I want the athletes and the parents and the coaches listening to this to understand it's a little bit of tough love. Some kids can't handle that workload.
For sure.
So maybe elite athletics is not necessarily for them. But I believe that every young athlete who has this dream, there's a way that they can program their life and schedule their routines to get wherever they want.
For sure.
But it's so sad. You see kids who don't believe in themselves or parents who aren't engaged and involved. I coached youth football for 7 years here. And with the younger kids, the parents drop them off and leave.
Yeah.
They don't. I mean, my mom came to every single hockey practice and stayed and watched. And these kids are getting dropped off like it's daycare.
Yeah, for sure.
I think it's really important if you're a parent at home listening, your child doesn't just need you to take them to practice. They need you to be engaged in their life, because right now, for this short period of time, sports is the most important thing to that child, probably, boy or girl, right?
No, for sure. For sure. Yeah. I did add on that too. I feel like now that we're in like a generation of like social media being so like, popular, some people want like to be posting on their social media, I'm playing at the next level, but they like we talked about, if you don't actually love it, that stuff's all gonna catch up, like Instagram posts.
Those are the jacket wearers.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like there's like I've noticed like sometimes there's guys that want it for like it's
all the wrong reasons.
For like not exactly, like not the right reasons, and that's tough too. But I agree. Like, and my parents are a big part in my life too. Like they like Bishop's a bit too far to get to games, but they live stream every game, and like it's nice. They usually text me like win or loss, or whether I played well or not. Just hey, like we're proud of you. Like you're living out a dream. Like remember that. Like so, like it's stuff like that. Is parents have a big part in your life, and then your sports related life too as well. So I agree. For sure. So
Connor, when you first really got put on my radar, when I knew that you were legit and a great athlete and a role model, was I was live streaming a game. Bishop, it was home. I wasn't there, but I was live streaming it from my apartment when I was at school. And you were a rookie, and you hadn't played much yet.
No.
And you got thrown into minutes one game because of an injury, and you were playing in overtime, and you were getting buckets and getting and ones, and you made a huge contribution to that game. And that's when I said, this kid is 18, 19 years old. Like, he is legit, because what I believe about you, CIS sports is it is all about experience. Your first year, make your mistakes, screw up, learn how to be coached by your coach. Watch your film. Year 2, same thing, but make less mistakes. Year 3, 4, 5, it's your time. But I already feel like you've already arrived. You're in your second year and you're getting minutes, consistent minutes. You've gotten some starts. So talk to me a little bit about what that means to you in terms of like validation and what you want now moving forward.
For sure. I appreciate all that too. And I think like coming in, first of all, I was just thankful for the opportunity, because my coach, like Bishop's was one of my only the only school that wanted me as a 18-year-old. A lot, like I went to some other schools in the CIS level, but they know we need to get a bit bigger. We'll see you, check back with you on grade 13. But I was ready to get on, like, you know, and get on to university. So Coach Gilpin gave me a chance at Bishops, and there wasn't really any expectations coming in, you know, like he might play in his second or third year. Like he actually told me that, like, you know, but I came in, I just, with the right mindset, kind of like I just worked hard every day, you know, and I knew that, you know, my role had to change a bit. Like in Brockville, you know, you kind of do everything. You're the ball handler, you know, but in Bishops, there's guys that, you know, are more athletic than me and they're better ball handlers than me. So what am I going to do that's going to separate myself to get myself on the court? And for me, that was just my shooting. So like I worked hard on my shots, got to the corner, looking for passes. And then on defense, just, you know, not the most athletic guy, but just
don't be a liability.
Be solid. You know, like I don't have to lock anyone down, but be there for the help defense and know my scout, you know, watch film as the preparation, watching film, knowing what guys' tendencies are and stuff. So yeah, I still remember my first game was actually at Acadia, and I got to fly. Just getting to go on the trip was huge for me. And then
my first game ever was against Acadia.
No way, yeah. So on the 7-minute mark, so very early in the first quarter, Coach Gilpin turns to the bench and Connor. And I remember coach, like me, like me, like you want me, and he's like, yo, let's go. I'm like, okay. So get on. I remember
this
being
was your
like,
first game,
and I remember like, oh my god, like I thought I was just coming to watch. Like, yo, this is crazy.
He was testing you.
Yeah. So I get in there, and right away I'm getting shot. I hit my first three in the corner. I'm like, oh, like a feeling of like goosebumps and like just. It was crazy. Like it was just such a surreal feeling. Right. And then, yeah, the home opener, like I heard the Bishops crowds, you know, they're that wasn't the home opener, but the next home game. And then, yeah.
That was the overtime game, right?
Yes. Yeah. So then we had a couple of injuries, and then, yeah, I was ready for with my preparation and just my work ethic. I felt like, you know, I'm ready for this, you know, and then my opportunity came, and I was lucky enough to get a couple buckets, and we got to win that game too, which was big. So
huge.
Yeah, it was really, really cool for me. So, and now like in my second year, like I hope to take I'm taking a leap. Like I'm getting a bit more minutes and just
your boy Pascal.
Yeah, like exactly. Yeah. Like I'm hoping, you know, and I'm hoping every year I can add something new and take a leap. Like I think for going into my second year, a big thing was being able to guard like my man a bit better, because in practice, like I was fouling a lot, and like I was fouling a lot in games. So in the summer in the Kingston Men's League, there was some like Rob Fullerton, Brian Klusman, some great players in the area.
Right.
My goal was to always guard the best player. So like whether that be like there's a lot of good Queens guys, got a lot of good St. Lawrence College guys that would come. So sometimes I would get my clock cleaned and guys would be, you know, scoring on me, but I would take that as a challenge. And then coming back into camp this year, like I felt I've improved a bit, you know, on my defense, and then, you know, I'm still getting my shots up and stuff. So yeah, I'm hoping, you know, to every year to continue to take a leap. And
you've got that dog mentality, man.
For sure.
I never played basketball past high school, but I always said I'm guarding the best player and I don't care. Even pick up at the YMCA, like Reese Larry, I'll guard him. He's dunked on me before.
Yeah.
And then the other guys laugh at you, but I'm like, at least I'm trying to get up there and block this guy. Like I'm making him better. You know what I mean?
No, you're right.
So one of the things I'm kind of blown away about your maturity throughout this podcast so far is you seem to. You're in the moment, like, you know, your opportunity and you're reflecting on it and you're appreciative of it. Whereas, you know, most people don't get that until they're done with sports, and then they sit back and they start to reflect, like myself.
For sure.
I feel like you have this sense of, you understand that time is limited and you want to get the most out of this while still having like a long-term plan. Yeah. I think that's absolutely remarkable for someone in their second year, man.
I really appreciate it.
Just speak to that a little bit for me.
Yeah. Like, I think like, it's just all like, I'm so like thankful, because I never, like, this was always just a dream for me, you know, and like now that I'm living like a dream and getting to play the sport that I love at like the next level, like it's all like, you know, like sometimes I gotta sit back and reflect, and, you know, if I have a tough game, you sit back and reflect, you know, like this, I'm still, you know, I'm living a dream here. Like, you know, like you can't get too caught up in like success and failure. You have to kind of keep in that middle ground, because there's always going to be, you know, there's going to be another game, you know, like we play Thursday, Saturday usually. So if you have a tough game Thursday, you can't be dwelling on, you know, your failures or successes. You have to be ready for Saturday. I'm just kind of trying to keep that like almost like a Kawhi Leonard, like nothing
never
too high,
never too low.
Never too high, never too low mentality, especially as a shooter too, because there might be some games where, you know, I rally off, you know, 5 for 6 threes, but then there might be other games where I go, you know, 1 for 4.
That's gonna happen.
And it's going to happen. And I'm just kind of like, it's like it's good for my like just in life too. Like just realize, you know, when there's gonna be successes in your life and failures in your life and just, you know, good tests, bad tests, but just, you know, regrouping and remembering like the big picture in life, you know, like, you know, like I'm thankful I'm at like a good university. I have good people around me, you know, I have basketball, I'm doing what I love. So sometimes I'm big in like reflecting on that and like, you know, sometimes having to take a step back and like realizing, you know, I'm in a good spot. I'm very lucky, you know, so anyway, yeah, for sure.
So one thing I want to get your opinion on is how I feel about sports now that I've played in high school and university is that you don't learn how to play a sport until you go to university because of essentially film. I think film slows the game down and it gives you a bigger understanding of basketball or football or whatever your sport is.
For sure.
So I want to get your opinion on, do you feel that the same as me is with respect to, you know, the youth coaches in the area and all over? We wouldn't be here without them.
Yeah, no,
but to an extent also that we could probably be doing a better job, especially with the elite athletics. I'm not talking about a B house hockey team in Brockville, but the AAA players, the guys who are playing basketball, the guys who are trying to get football scholarships. What could we do better? Because they're not going to have access to film. They're not going to have enough time to get them in for another hour and go over the film. And they might not even know how to break film down.
Yeah, I know for sure.
What do you feel about the concept of you don't really learn how to play a sport until university?
Yeah, I would agree with that. I feel like you take some stuff from like your younger ages, but like I think university really I agree, like film is big. And I feel like university, like film, especially for me, it's big. And like for guys that if you're not necessarily the most athletic guy, like if you make a mistake, like your athleticism won't be there to back it up. So I think film, like for me, is huge because I need to know where guys are going. Because if I don't, then guys are blowing by me and scoring and it's going to hurt the team. But with guys who are more athletic, they can get away with certain stuff, you know, being a bit late on this because they're a bit more athletic. They can jump up and get the block or stuff. But like for myself, if I don't know what I'm doing on a cover, like on like, you know, football coverage or basketball, like a defensive, you know, like where we're sliding on defense. If I don't know where I'm going, then it's going to burn us. So I think film's big. I think, like knowing, like not like just playing your sport isn't enough too. I feel like there needs to be like, you know, like for me, a big thing that helped me actually was kind of funny is yoga. Like I wasn't that flexible. And like Clark Flynn, actually a trainer in Brockville, was like, man, like you're not doing any of the Olympic lifts right. Like, yo, you need to go do yoga. And I'm like, yo, yoga, like who does yoga, Clark? Like it's a girl thing. Come on, it's like an old woman thing. Right. But I go in there and I tell you what, like yoga has made me like such a better athlete. Like just flexibility wise, and like we do a lot of breathing stuff, which just like kind of, you know, cliche, but like it really helps.
Wim Hof really works.
Like this stuff, like I'm telling you, like I was actually there this morning. Like this stuff really helps me, and like stuff like that. Not just, you know, you go to the gym, you get shots, but like you said, the weight, the film, like stuff like yoga, like just reading
don't
books.
Be at work.
Like
and it's a process.
It's everything. Like all that stuff's gonna help you get towards your goal. So I agree. Like a lot more comes into it than just, you know, like at the next level, all these things are important to make sure you're doing and stuff. So, yeah.
And what's a little interesting about this specific podcast is we were both Bishop skaters, and you're still really there, and obviously just graduated. So, what's going on campus? Anything new and exciting? And talk a little bit about the men's and women's basketball programs.
Yeah, for sure. So, like, I'm thankful for you, Zach, because you were like a guy that, you know, helped me kind of get transition and stuff, and you know, I appreciate that for sure. And Bishop, like, for basketball, like we were both teams were nationally ranked at the beginning of the season, and the women's are still like they're still 4-1. I think they're ranked 7 still.
Shout out my girl Metch doing her thing. I see you, girl.
Yeah, girls are killing it. They actually just beat McGill on a buzzer beater, so that was great. It was cool to be a part of. For us, we've been all right. We're 2-3 going into the break. I feel like our record doesn't do a great job like representing ourselves, because I feel like the talent in our team, like we have potential, you know, to hopefully post a playoff game. I think that's the goal for us, is to get into a position where we're packing Mitchell Gym, and you know, it's they have to come to us and play through us and our crowd. But I think there's a lot of potential. We only played 5 games, so we still have 11 to go, and I think it's going to come down to us, how we come together and we put together a solid second half of the season. So I think there's a lot of potential to, you know, win another RSEQ championship. Like, but a lot of things have to happen to get to that point.
Right,
but
so because the other teams out there, they're trying to win too, right?
Oh, exactly. There's no weak team in our league too. Like every team's every game's a dogfight. Like you have to be ready and prepared. And we saw that a couple games we came out slow. Team gets up big on us, and then we're playing catch up, and it's tough, And every team has great players, so. And that's another thing between Bishops and Brockville. Like every team is good, Every person who's on the university team is the man in their city, There's not like when you're playing Lagasa and you're gonna play against a team that you're gonna beat by 40 points. Like every game you have to be locked in and ready to go and ready to check up the guy ahead of you because everyone is elite. Everyone's good. So anyway, I think I'm hoping for us to get on a bit of a win streak here, get hot, and then carry that on to hopefully the playoffs and etc. So
we're just going to switch gears here a little bit. And Connor, we're going to wrap this up. I just want to ask you, you got out of Brockville, Jackson got out of Brockville. Yeah. There seems to be an opportunity. And earlier you had mentioned there's a chip on your shoulder from Brockville. And a lot of people don't believe in themselves and they don't think they can get out, or their parents don't know where to start. So can you just briefly give us a little advice about your personal recruiting process and some steps that these young basketball players or athletes in general can follow to hopefully be in your footsteps?
For sure. So I think being from Brockville, there's still a lot of good resources here to use. And I was lucky, I was fortunate to have great coaches throughout the Blazers, throughout St. Mary's and, etc. And I think it's going to come down to your dream. You have to see yourself playing at the next level. For me, I always believed I could make it, and you have to believe that. And
you visualize.
Right. You have to first of all see yourself playing at the next level, and second of all, you have to work hard, work smart, and work consistently. The big three. It needs to be a constant. Not every day you're doing something to improve and get better because people everyone's working. There's everyone out there is, trying to get to that same opportunity you to play at the next level. So I think you have to, to make that almost the sacrifices to be able to play at the next level, I have to put away the Netflix for, you got to put away, some stuff you have to sacrifice because it's tough, it's an honor to be able to play at the next level and only so many people get that opportunity. So I think that would be big. And
yeah. You know what? It's not for everyone, but if this is your dream and you're a young athlete listening to this, it's important to speak your goals into reality.
For sure.
Say it out loud, tell your friends, tell your parents, and then never stop working.
For sure. Can I say one more thing?
Absolutely.
Too? Yeah. I think coming from Brockville too, it's it gives you a chip on your shoulder, but also something I've noticed this year, especially, which was really cool for me in my career, was we had to play 2 games in Ottawa. So we played Carleton in October, and then we played in Ottawa U the next weekend. And being from Brockville, because there's not many people that make it at the next level, because you have been at the next level, people are they support you and they want to see you succeed. I have a bunch of guys on my team from Montreal, and when we go and play in Montreal, they'll probably have their family and friends. But when I went to play in Ottawa, which is an hour away from Brockville, there was 60, 70 people in that gym cheering for me. Just because I'm from Brockville. And that was one of the coolest moments for me. I had teachers bringing their son and daughter. I had kids I trained coming up to watch,
You're a role model now.
It was really surreal. And after the game, everyone, they stayed in center court. And I remember coming through the doors and being wow, all these people are here to watch me. Wow. It was such a honor and just that people care. I'm not, people are caring that they want to come up and see me on a Friday night, watch me play basketball. It was I'm so thankful for that. And it was so surreal. So being from Brockville, people want to see you succeed, because in athletics, not a lot of people make it to that next level.
It gives them hope too.
It gives them hope, you know, and I hope that I can to motivate younger basketball players, and that you can do this, there's enough resources, and if you believe in yourself, you can for sure make it to the next level. And that's I just wanted to touch on that.
I think that's a great point to end on today. So that was episode 4 of Athletic Insights. Connor, thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Zach, for having me. Appreciate it, man.
We're out.